Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video from our channel, Legend Death Data. In this video, we'll be highlighting American celebrities who have passed away today and in the last few days, along with other notable figures from around the world. Before we proceed, we kindly ask you to show your love and support by giving this video a like. It means a lot to us. Thank you.
Savannah Guthrie. A ransom note sent days after the 84-year-old mother of U.S. presenter Savannah Guthrie was abducted from her home claimed she had died, according to investigators. The note was one of two addressed to Nancy Guthrie's family and sent to news media in the days after her January kidnapping. The first demanded millions in Bitcoin for her release, but the second stated that she had died, according to sources cited by U.S. media. The note from the possible kidnappers reportedly stated they did not mean for her to die and included an apology to the family. The Pima County Sheriff's Department declined to comment on the contents of the notes, but said the investigation remains active and ongoing. On Tuesday morning, during her first appearance on NBC's Today Show since news of the second ransom note dropped, Savannah Guthrie addressed the news as tears fell from her face. The longtime television presenter again begged people with information to come forward. "Somebody knows something," she said. "We are in agony." This is a new story today that is on your radar, but this is the life we live every day, Guthrie added. When asked about the case by reporters on Tuesday, U.S. President Donald Trump said that he hopes they find her and that the Guthrie family has gone through hell. The FBI and Pima County have spent months investigating the elder Guthrie's mysterious abduction from her home near Tucson, Arizona. Clive Davis, one of the most influential music executives in the history of rock and pop, has died at the age of 94. A former head of Columbia and Arista Records, he signed and shaped the careers of artists including Aretha Franklin, Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel, Whitney Houston, Santana, Janis Joplin, Christina Aguilera, Alicia Keys, and many others. He had recently been in hospital with respiratory problems and was recovering at home in Manhattan, New York, when he died, his family said. To the world, our father was the iconic music legend whose vision, instincts, and relentless pursuit of excellence shaped the soundtrack of countless lives, they said in a statement. He discovered, mentored, and championed the greatest artists in modern music history, leaving an indelible mark on culture that will endure for generations. To his family, Clive was dad and granddaddy, the steady presence at the center of our lives, the source of wisdom, strength, encouragement, and unconditional love. Among those paying tribute was Bruce Springsteen. In a post on Instagram, the Born in the USA singer said that he was mourning the death of the great record man and a close friend. At 22 years old, he changed my life when he signed me to Columbia Records, Springsteen wrote. He treated me with the same respect and kindness as a 22-year-old nobody as he did after all my success. A great man.
The music world has lost Peabo Bryson, who passed away at the age of 75. For many Americans, his voice was instantly recognizable. Warm, smooth, unmistakable. Bryson built a remarkable career spanning decades, earning Grammy Awards and becoming one of the defining voices of soul and romantic ballads. Many will remember hearing him on the radio throughout the 1970s and 1980s, while younger generations discovered him through beloved Disney soundtracks that became part of family memories. His passing feels like the loss of a familiar voice from another time, one that many never expected to say goodbye to. News of the passing of Tay Keith, who died at just 29 years old, came as a genuine shock to many across the music industry. Born Britavious Lakeith Chambers in Memphis, he rose from a young producer with big ambitions to one of the most recognizable hitmakers of his generation. His family and representatives confirmed the heartbreaking news, prompting an outpouring of tributes from artists, collaborators, and fans. Though his career was far shorter than anyone expected, his impact was impossible to ignore. His productions helped define the sound of modern hip-hop during the late 2010s and early 2020s. Sometimes a life is measured less by years and more by the mark it leaves behind. By that measure, Tay Keith leaves a remarkable legacy. The passing of Tina Turner at the age of 83 felt different from many celebrity losses. For countless Americans, she wasn't simply a singer. She was a symbol of perseverance, reinvention, and pure determination. Her family confirmed the news, and tributes quickly arrived from around the world. Yet for many older fans, the first reaction was personal. Memories came flooding back. The electrifying performances of the 1960s, the powerhouse voice that dominated radio stations, the remarkable comeback in the 1980s that few people saw coming. There was something extraordinary about Tina's story. After years of struggle and personal hardship, she rebuilt her career when many in the industry had already counted her out. Then came hits like What's Love Got to Do With It, and sold-out arenas packed with fans who admired not only her talent, but her resilience. What made her especially beloved was that strength never seemed manufactured. It felt earned. People saw someone who had endured difficult chapters and somehow emerged stronger. That resonated with an entire generation that faced its own challenges and setbacks. Away from the stage, friends often described her as thoughtful, private, and deeply appreciative of the life she eventually built. Fame never completely defined her. There was always a sense that she valued peace far more than attention. When someone like Tina Turner leaves us, it becomes impossible not to think about the passing of time. The records remain. The performances remain. The memories certainly remain. But the era she represented grows a little further away. And perhaps that is why her absence is still felt. Not because the music disappeared, but because she helped soundtrack so many lives that are now filled with decades of memories. The news of Dennis Locorriere's passing has left many longtime music fans quietly shaken. Dennis, who died at the age of 76, was best known as the unmistakable voice of Dr. Hook, a band that brought humor, heart, and a little mischief to radio stations across America. For many people, hearing his voice instantly brings back another time. A car ride with the windows down. A jukebox in a neighborhood bar. A summer evening when songs felt less polished and somehow more real. His family and those close to him confirmed the loss, and tributes soon began appearing from fans who had followed his music for decades. There was something different about Dennis. He never sounded like he was trying too hard. The voice was warm, familiar, almost like a friend telling a story. And for millions who grew up with Dr. Hook on the radio, that connection never really faded. For many listeners, Todd Snider represented something that has become increasingly rare in modern music: authenticity. He never seemed interested in fitting neatly into a category or chasing whatever trend happened to be popular at the time. Instead, he built a career by telling stories the way he saw them, blending folk, rock, blues, country, and a touch of humor into something uniquely his own. Born in Portland in 1966, Snider eventually found a home in Nashville, though he often felt more like an observer than a participant in the music industry's machinery. That outsider perspective became one of his greatest strengths. His songs were filled with everyday characters, unexpected wisdom, and the kind of honesty that cannot be manufactured. Many fans discovered him during the 1990s, when singer-songwriters still occupied a special place in American music. Others found him later through live performances, where his storytelling often became just as memorable as the songs themselves. A Todd Snider concert rarely felt rehearsed. It felt like spending an evening with someone who had seen a little bit of everything and wasn't afraid to laugh about it. The news of his passing at 59 struck many people as deeply unfair. Not because he was the biggest star in Nashville. He wasn't. It hurt because he remained one of the few artists who seemed genuinely connected to ordinary life. His legacy lives on in those songs. The funny ones, the heartbreaking ones, the ones that made listeners smile before suddenly making them think. In a world full of polished performances, Todd Snider reminded people that a good story, told honestly, still matters. For generations of country music fans, Bill Cody's voice was simply part of life. You could hear him on the radio during a morning drive, introducing an artist at the Grand Ole Opry, or sharing a story that made Nashville feel a little closer, no matter where you lived. His passing marks the end of a familiar presence that many listeners welcomed into their homes for years. Not a flashy celebrity, not someone who demanded attention, just a trusted voice that became woven into the daily routines of countless fans. What made Bill special was his genuine love for the music and the people behind it. He treated legends and newcomers with the same respect, and listeners could hear that sincerity every time he spoke. The microphone may be silent now, yet for those who spent decades listening, the memories remain. And sometimes, that is how a life continues long after the broadcast ends. Long before country music became a global business, George Jones was already setting a standard that countless singers spent the rest of their careers trying to reach. Born in Texas during the Great Depression, he emerged in the 1950s with a voice that sounded unlike anyone else's. Raw, powerful, unmistakably human. For many fans, the first memories come from hearing songs like White Lightning, blasting from car radios or spinning on jukeboxes across small-town America. Those records helped make him a star, but they were only the beginning. Through the 1960s and 1970s, as country music evolved and Nashville changed, Jones remained one of its most respected voices. Then came what many still consider one of the greatest country recordings ever made. He Stopped Loving Her Today. Released in 1980, it arrived at a time when some believed his best years were behind him. Instead, the song became a defining moment, not only in his career but in the history of country music itself. Few performances captured heartbreak with such honesty. Fans admired the hits, of course, but they also recognized something deeper. George Jones sang as if he had lived every word. Joy, regret, loneliness, hope. It was all there in the voice. Many artists achieved commercial success during those decades. Very few earned the level of respect that Jones did from fellow musicians. Even among legends, his name was often spoken with a certain reverence. The kind that cannot be manufactured. The kind that comes only after a lifetime spent turning ordinary songs into something unforgettable.
Oliver Tree. YouTuber KSI has paid an emotional tribute to U.S. singer and legend Oliver Tree, who is believed to have died after two helicopters collided in Rio de Janeiro. The American singer-songwriter, who collaborated with KSI on the song Voices and is known for the track Miss You, was listed as being on board a helicopter that crashed over the Brazilian city on Sunday morning. He is believed to be one of 6 people who were killed when the two helicopters collided over Rio de Janeiro and crashed in the city's western zone, firefighters said. Rio de Janeiro's military fire department said one of the helicopters crashed into a car dealership where several electric vehicles were parked, igniting a fire that was extinguished. Tree was on the list of passengers handed to aviation authorities, the police have said, but they have not been able to identify the bodies of those killed in the crash. In a post shared on X, Britain's Got Talent judge KSI said, "Can't believe I'm actually having to type this. You're 32, man. You should still be here. You still had so much life to live, so much music to make, so much content to make. You're a legend and will always be a legend. Still doesn't feel real, genuinely feels sick. I love you, bro." The 32-year-old was only weeks into his world's first world tour, where he had planned to play shows on all 7 continents. He performed in Buenos Aires, Argentina, on June 4th, and on Saturday shared a video on his Instagram playing football in a Brazilian neighborhood. Tree was due to play more than 70 shows across 30 countries, including the UK, with dates scheduled in Glasgow, Manchester, and London in September. Recognizable by his signature bowl cut, Tree was known for his songs Life Goes On and When I'm Down. He released his 4th studio album, Love You Madly, Hate You Badly, in April. Jean Shalit, the popular film critic who spent decades with Today, has died. He was 100 years old. In a statement to NBC News on June 12th, Shalit's family said he passed away peacefully today after 100 years of an amazing life. Born March 25, 1926, Shalit was an instantly recognizable personality. Along with his distinctive handlebar mustache, poofy hair, eyeglasses, and bow ties, he is best remembered for his love of puns while doing reviews on the show's Critics' Corner segment. A graduate of the University of Illinois, Shalit became a part-time Today personality in 1970 and was elevated to a full-time role in 1973, replacing Joe Garagiola. He remained with the show until he retired in 2010. "It's enough already," he said in a statement announcing his retirement. In addition to his reviews, Shalit interviewed scores of celebrities during his Today tenure. His 1979 sit-down with Carol Channing is best remembered for the actor telling a story about having trouble understanding the British accent that left him in tears from laughing so hard. "What's the matter with him?" a smiling Channing said as Shalit tried to gather himself. His movie reviews were often punctuated by his use of puns, which became his calling card. Shalit made regular appearances on classic game shows What's My Line and To Tell the Truth, and wrote for a wide range of newspapers and magazines, including the New York Times, Cosmopolitan, Glamour, and TV Guide. He also wrote and broadcast a daily piece called Man About Anything on NBC's radio network for over a decade. In addition, he authored the 1987 anthology Laughing Matters, a celebration of American humor.
Anthony Head, the beautifully elegant guardian of fantasy television and a deeply cherished English actor and singer, has passed away at the age of 72. He was a true beacon of sophisticated warmth, a man whose gentle wisdom and commanding presence brought pure comfort into the hearts of audiences everywhere. His journey was a magnificent, decades-long story of artistic grace, rising to capture global screen stardom. He didn't just play characters, he poured a raw, fiercely dedicated soul into legendary television masterpieces like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Ted Lasso. Every watchful glance as the iconic Rupert Giles, and every brilliantly sharp line drove millions to fall in love with his timeless talent. Now, the library archives have softly quieted, and a remarkably vibrant life has taken its final bow. We lose a genuine giant of the stage and screen who lived to guide and inspire. The entertainment landscape feels deeply still without his radiant, comforting presence. Rest peacefully. Your extraordinary light shines in our memories forever.
Jimmy Ray McBride has passed away at the age of 78, leaving behind a remarkable legacy in country music. He was never the loudest name in the room, not the artist standing center stage, Yet millions of Americans spent decades listening to words that came from his pen. Born in Huntsville, Alabama, McBride became one of those rare songwriters who understood ordinary people. Love, regret, family, hard work. The themes that defined much of country music's most memorable years. His career produced 5 #1 songs, 10 top 10 hits, and many more records that found their way onto radios across the country. When he was inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2017, it felt like recognition long earned. There is something especially moving about the loss of a songwriter. The voice may belong to someone else, but the heart of the song often belongs to them. Jimmy Ray McBride's words will continue traveling long after his passing, carried by the music he helped create. The death of Kristofferson at the age of 88 closed a chapter that felt deeply connected to the golden years of American music and storytelling. For many people, he was never just a country singer. He was a songwriter's songwriter, a poet with a rough voice, a man who seemed more interested in telling the truth than chasing fame. His family confirmed that he passed away peacefully, surrounded by those closest to him. News of his passing brought a wave of memories for generations who grew up hearing his songs on country radio and seeing him on movie screens. Born in Brownsville, Texas, Kristofferson became one of the defining voices behind the country music revolution of the late 1960s and 1970s. His friendships and collaborations with legends such as Johnny Cash, Shel Silverstein, and Fred Foster helped shape an era that many fans still consider country music's finest. What always stood out was his humanity. He served in the military, studied at Oxford, and could have chosen a very different life. Instead, he followed music, often facing uncertainty along the way. That decision gave the world songs that felt honest and lived in. Many also remember him from films throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Yet, even after Hollywood's success, he never seemed far removed from the songwriter carrying a notebook and searching for the next line. As time moves forward, voices like Kristofferson's become rarer. Not because of talent alone, but because authenticity cannot be manufactured. His songs remain. So do the stories. And for many Americans who lived through those decades, hearing his voice still feels like hearing an old friend. The passing of James Handy at the age of 81 closes the chapter on a career that many Americans experienced without always knowing his name. Yet his face was familiar, very familiar. His family confirmed his passing, and for countless viewers, it brings back memories of decades spent in front of television sets and movie screens. James Handy was one of those dependable actors who seemed to be everywhere, not chasing celebrity, just doing the work. If you watched television in the late 1970s, the 1980s, or the years that followed, chances are you saw him more times than you realized. He appeared during an era when character actors helped give stories their texture and realism, the kind of performers who made a scene feel believable the moment they stepped into it. Many will remember seeing him in films like Arachnophobia, Jumanji, and later in Top Gun: Maverick. Others may recognize him from countless television appearances spread across nearly 5 decades. He became part of the background of American entertainment in the best possible way. What stands out now is his consistency. Year after year, decade after decade. No scandals, no constant headlines. Just a craftsman showing up and delivering. As time moves forward, it's often these familiar faces that remind us how much life has changed. We may not remember every character James Handy played, but we remember where we were when those movies aired, who was sitting beside us, and the years that seemed like they would last forever. The passing of Melba Montgomery at the age of 86 marks the loss of a voice that belonged to one of country music's most cherished eras. Her family confirmed the news, and for many longtime fans, it feels like saying goodbye to a familiar friend from country radio's golden years. Back in the 1960s and 1970s, her duets with George Jones became favorites across America. Those records played from jukeboxes, car radios, and living rooms at a time when country music was built on storytelling and heartbreak. Real songs, real emotions. Many also remember the surprise success of No Charge in 1974, a song that touched parents across the country with its simple message about love and sacrifice. It was gentle, honest, unforgettable. Melba never seemed interested in chasing fame. She simply sang the truth. And sometimes, that's what lasts the longest. Long after the charts fade away, the voices that felt genuine continue to echo through the years.
Stacy King. The basketball world is mourning the loss of Stacy King, the former Chicago Bulls big man and longtime broadcaster who has died at the age of 59. The Chicago Bulls announced King's passing Sunday, sending shockwaves through the NBA community. A cause of death was not mentioned. King spent 8 seasons in the league after being selected 6th overall in the 1989 NBA draft by the Bulls and quickly became part of one of basketball's greatest dynasties, helping the Bulls capture 3 straight NBA championships alongside Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen during the franchise's legendary early 90s run. After his time in Chicago, King went on to play for several NBA teams, including the Minnesota Timberwolves, Miami Heat, Dallas Mavericks, and Boston Celtics before wrapping up his professional playing career. While King earned 3 championship rings as a player, many younger fans came to know him as the unmistakable voice of Bulls basketball. Following his playing days, he became a fan-favorite broadcaster, known for his energetic calls, memorable catchphrases, and larger-than-life personality behind the microphone. Many remember King not only for his role on championship teams, but for the passion and humor he brought to every Bulls broadcast. Patrick Godfrey. Patrick Godfrey, the actor known for roles in Ever After, 1998, and Les Miserables, 2012, has died. He was 93. The actor's London-based agency, Markham, Froggatt, and Irwin, announced that Godfrey died peacefully at home, surrounded by his family on Thursday. It is with great sadness that we can confirm Patrick Godfrey passed away last night. They said in a statement, adding, "Patty was an exceptionally talented actor and a remarkable individual, and we will miss him greatly." Born February 13, 1933 in London, Godfrey won a Carlton Hobbs Bursary Award in 1956, earning him a 6-month contract with BBC's Radio Drama Company. He made his on-screen debut in a 1959 episode of Sunday's Child. Godfrey appeared in multiple TV shows over the decades, including Doctor Who, Midsummer Murders, Doc Martin, and His Dark Materials. His film credits include roles in A Room with a View, 1985, Ever After, 1998, The Count of Monte Cristo, 2002, The Importance of Being Earnest, 2002, Oliver Twist, 2005, The History Boys, 2006, The Duchess, 2008, Breathe, 2017, and Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, 2018. Also, a stage actor, Godfrey starred in Broadway's The Life and Adventures of Nicholas Nickleby in 1981, followed by the West End's As You Like It in 2016, and Witness for the Prosecution in 2021. Additionally, he provided voiceovers on the video games BioShock 2, 2010, Red Dead Redemption 2010 and Red Dead Redemption to 2018. Godfrey is survived by actress-wife Amanda Walker and their 2 children. Ned Jarrett. Today's news that NASCAR Hall of Famer Ned Jarrett had died at age 93 felt like losing a longtime close friend, albeit one you never met in person, but was in your living room most Sundays for decades. If you grew up a fan of NASCAR in the 80s and 90s, the era that really helped set the table for the sport's peak in national prominence that would follow, you enjoyed great on-track battles between the likes of all-timers Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, and then Jeff Gordon, to name a few. Ned was in the TV booth for so many of the formative moments of that time, either on CBS with Ken Squire and company for the Daytona 500, or, much more frequently, with Bob Jenkins and Benny Parsons on ESPN, a trio that to this day is still revered, despite being 26 years since they last called a race together. A decade ago, when Ned and Dale Jarrett joined Ken Squire for NBC's throwback Southern 500 telecasts, it was remarkable that Ned hadn't missed a beat. Ned's cool, calculating style helped him to 2 championships as a racer. That same style, plus his ability to clearly communicate complex things, helped translate his sport to fans who were discovering it for the first time through TV. Thinking back on it today, what stands out is his versatility. He was an analyst with the broadcasting range that many career announcers don't even have. YouTuber Alex Cimo. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Community is in mourning today. Alex Cimo, one of the most beloved creators in the game's online world, has passed away at just 32 years old. And the tributes pouring in from fans and fellow creators make one thing very clear. This loss goes far deeper than just losing a YouTuber. For those who don't know Alex, here's a quick picture of who he was. He built a YouTube channel from the ground up, centered entirely around Yu-Gi-Oh!, the card game he fell in love with as a kid. Deck profiles, competitive breakdowns, community series. Over the years, he grew that channel to over 300,000 subscribers. Not through flashy gimmicks, just genuine passion for a game he truly loved. His mother confirmed his passing in a LinkedIn post, writing that Alex left them after a hard-fought battle with stage 4 colon cancer. She described him as an incredibly successful creator who, and this part really stands out, took the card game he loved playing as a child and shared his passion and positivity with millions. That's not PR language. That's a mother describing her son, and it says everything. What makes Alex's story even more remarkable is how he handled his diagnosis. He was completely open with his audience about what he was going through. Back in March, he shared a post that honestly stopped a lot of people in their tracks. He wrote that doctors had told him he had only days to live, and his response was to fight. His words, "I fought and fought and fought harder than anything I've had to fight for in my entire life." He didn't just fight for himself either. Alex raised tens of thousands of dollars for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation and volunteered his time toward finding a cure. And shortly before his passing, he gave away most of his card collection, valued at over $10,000. Just gave it away. Alex Cimo is survived by his wife, his family, and a community of hundreds of thousands of people whose love for this game was made better because of him. He spent over a decade showing up for that community, and in his final chapter, he showed what real courage looks like. Rest easy, Alex. The community you built isn't going anywhere.
The music world has lost Peabo Bryson at the age of 75, a voice that seemed to glide effortlessly through some of the most memorable songs of the last half-century. His passing was confirmed by those close to him, bringing sadness to fans who grew up hearing that unmistakable blend of soul, warmth, and quiet power. For many Americans, especially those who remember radio in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, Bryson's voice was simply part of life. It appeared during long drives, wedding dances, and family evenings around the television. Later generations discovered him through beloved Disney films, where songs like Beauty and the Beast became woven into family memories. What always stood out was his sincerity. No unnecessary drama. Just a man who let the music speak. As the years move faster and more familiar voices leave us, artists like Peabo Bryson remind us how deeply a song can become part of a lifetime. The news of Foster Sylvers' passing at the age of 64 has left many longtime music fans quietly reflecting on just how quickly the years have gone by. Known as a singer, songwriter, producer, and one of the most talented members of the Sylvers, Foster was part of a musical family that helped shape the sound of the 1970s. His family confirmed the loss, bringing an end to a career that began when he was still a child. For many Americans who grew up during that era, his voice is tied to memories of transistor radios, weekend television appearances, and a time when family groups could dominate the charts with pure talent and undeniable charm. When Misdemeanor became a hit in 1973, Foster was only 11 years old. Think about that for a moment. Most children were worried about homework or Little League. He was performing for national audiences and carrying himself with a confidence far beyond his years. It was remarkable then, and it still feels remarkable now. What many people admired was not only the music, it was the sense that the Sylvers were genuinely connected as a family. Through changing trends, industry pressures, and decades of life experience, Foster remained closely tied to the musical roots that first introduced him to the world. There is something especially sad about losing artists from that generation. They remind us of summer afternoons, family gatherings, and songs that somehow stayed with us long after the radio stopped playing them. Foster Sylvers leaves behind recordings, memories, and a chapter of American music that cannot be recreated. Time moves on. It always does. Yet certain voices continue to echo long after they are gone. The passing of Robert Carradine at the age of 71 marks the end of a career that stretched across some unforgettable decades of American film and television. For many people, his face instantly brings back memories of movie theaters in the late 1970s and 1980s, when a new generation of actors was finding its place in Hollywood while audiences packed cinemas every weekend. His family confirmed the news, and for those who followed his work over the years, it feels like another reminder that the era many of us grew up with is slowly becoming part of history. Robert came from one of Hollywood's most recognized acting families, but he never seemed interested in simply living off the family name. He built his own path. Many viewers remember him from Revenge of the Nerds, a film that became one of the defining comedies of the 1980s. It was the kind of movie quoted in school hallways, college dorms, and family living rooms for years afterward. Whether people loved it or criticized it, they remembered it. There was something approachable about him. He never carried himself like an untouchable movie star. Even when appearing alongside bigger names, he often felt like the person audiences could relate to. The underdog, the outsider, the guy trying to find his place. Away from the screen, he experienced the same ups and downs that come with a long life and a long career. Success, setbacks, family, change. The things that eventually touch everyone. When actors like Robert Carradine leave us, It is not only a performer we lose, it is a connection to a particular time in American culture. A Saturday night movie, a rented VHS tape, a familiar face appearing on the television after dinner. Those moments fade, but somehow they never disappear completely.
Raymond Berry, the Hall of Fame wide receiver who teamed with Baltimore quarterback Johnny Unitas for one of the NFL's greatest passing combinations and helped lead the Colts to victory over the New York Giants in the storied 1958 championship game, has died. He was 93. Berry, who later coached the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 20, died May 25th, the Pro Football Hall of Fame said Monday. His family said in a statement that Berry died peacefully at home in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, surrounded by family, including his wife of 65 years, Sally. A 20th round draft pick out of SMU in 1954, the Texas native became a model for the virtues of hard work and determination. He had average speed, legs of different length, a bad back, imperfect eyesight, and oversized feet that in high school gave him the nickname Skis. But he willed himself into a superstar through exhaustive preparation and study, whether using silly putty to strengthen his fingers or simulating entire games on the practice field. He was among the most reliable receivers in league history, rarely dropping a pass and fumbling only twice. By his own count, he developed 88 separate routes to get open, his discipline so unyielding that even his coach, Weeb Obank, tried to intervene. One of his drills was to throw nothing but bad balls to him, Eubank told the Los Angeles Times in 1986. "I used to have to run John off. John, you've had enough throwing today." And he'd say, "Yeah, talk to that guy out there." Over 13 seasons, Berry caught a then-record 631 passes. Jerry Rice is now the all-time leader with 1,549 for 68 touchdowns, led the NFL in receptions 3 times, and played in 6 Pro Bowls. A mainstay of one of the league's top offenses, featuring Unitas, running back Lenny Moore, and offensive lineman Jim Parker, Berry played on championship teams in 1958 and 1959, and a runner-up in 1964. Berry was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in 1973 and was voted on to the league's 50th anniversary and 75th anniversary teams. The Colts retired his uniform number, 82. Southern Methodist University retired his number from college, 87. Berry was at his peak during a signature day in NFL history. The 1958 finale against the Giants at Yankee Stadium, an overtime classic, nationally televised and often cited as one of the sport's greatest games, and the starting point for the league's rise over the following decades. Neale Daniher. He was an American author, historian, and photographer who focused on the history of Seattle and Washington, in addition to contributing a weekly column to the Seattle Times. He played a major role in the Helix, Seattle's first underground newspaper, first issued in March 1967. Beginning in January 1982, his weekly Seattle Times column, Now and Then, ran for nearly 1,800 editions, combining archival images of Seattle with contemporary photographs captured from matching locations. In addition, he published numerous works focused on Seattle history. He was born 1938 and died May 27. He was 88 years, died in his sleep. Mark Johnson, an American professional skateboarder. He was backed by several sponsors as of May 2017, including Adidas, Thunder, Spitfire, ABC Hat Company, Mob Grip Tape, Andale Bearings, Loud Headphones, and Glassy Sun Haters. He was featured in episode number 36 of The 9 Club with host Chris Roberts. While not directly connected to the Back Music 40, the program shared a comparable focus on expanding skateboarding-related discussions centered on culture, business, and the sport's history. As of August 2012, Johnson resided in the quiet mountain area of Crestline. He later used social media platforms to announce the creation of a skateboard company, business, and company. He was born 1977 and died May 26th. He was 49 years. Cause of death is unknown. Claude Lemieux, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Claude Lemieux has died at the age of 60. The NHL Alumni Association announced Thursday, May 28th. In a statement shared by the Canadiens organization, Lemieux is remembered as a fierce competitor who rose to the occasion in big moments. Claude was a relentless, courageous, and tenacious player who led the team to the highest honors. Jeff Molson, owner and CEO of Group CH, said, "He embodied the very essence of being a Montreal Canadiens player. Today, we mourn the untimely passing of one of our champions. Our thoughts are with his family on this difficult day. Our further reports that the NHL legend died by suicide as he was found Thursday morning at a business in Florida which is owned by his family." Throughout his distinguished career, Lemieux played for 21 years with the Montreal Canadiens, New Jersey Devils, Colorado Avalanche, Phoenix Coyotes, Dallas Stars, and San Jose Sharks, winning the Stanley Cup in 1986, 1995, 1996, and 2000. He was also awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy in 1995, which is given to the most valuable player during the playoffs. Lemieux recently made a public appearance on Monday, May 25th, in Montreal before Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Final between the Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Griswald Chapman has passed away at 52. For many viewers, he was the familiar face from 30 Rock, appearing beside the chaos with a presence that somehow felt steady, warm, recognizable. Not loud, memorable in a different way. Fans who spent the 2000s with network television probably remember those years when sitcoms still gathered families in the same room, before everything became fragmented. Chapman stood out. At nearly 6 feet 10 inches, impossible to miss, yet people often spoke more about his kindness than his size. There's something sad about losing actors connected to comfort shows. You think they'll always remain there, frozen in reruns. Then time reminds us it kept moving, even while old episodes stayed the same. Charlie Daniels has died at 83, and for many Americans of a certain age, that news felt less like losing a musician and more like losing a sound that belonged to long highways, county fairs, old radios, and summers that seemed endless. His family confirmed his passing after a stroke. The words were simple. The impact wasn't. People remember, the devil went down to Georgia. Of course they do. By the late 1970s, that fiddle wasn't just part of country music anymore. It crossed into everything. Kids tried to imitate it. Adults argued over whether anyone could play like that again. But Charlie Daniels was never easy to place. Country, southern rock, blues, gospel. He moved through genres the way some people move through seasons, and maybe that fit him better. There was also something stubborn about him. Old school. The kind of artist who looked like he believed music should come with sweat and miles traveled. He played for decades, through changing radio stations, changing tastes, changing America. That doesn't happen by accident. I sometimes think audiences over 65 understood Charlie differently. because they lived through the years when musicians weren't brands first.